it up somehow. I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on.
Yes, my Straight Talk family, when you hear that theme song, you know it's time for another edition of Straight Talk, and time for me to bid you, St. Kitts and Nevis, a very pleasant night. So too, I extend greetings to the entire Caribbean region. To my Straight Talk family in the Kittitian and Nevisian diaspora, I say greetings to all who are logged on to Straight Talk. Straight Talk right here on the Ian Patches Liburd at Facebook and YouTube pages. To those in Africa, Asia, Europe, and those all over North America, I'm at liberty to say good night. I can say good morning, and I will say good afternoon, because one of such greetings will be applicable to the region in which you now find yourselves. Straight Talk, if you're joining me for the first time, is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free expression on all issues of national interest, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, you do have a forum to express yourselves freely. Let's in the process continue to keep St. Kitts and Nevis as one of the freest countries in the entire world. On this program, we try to raise the level of national consciousness. We try to raise the level of national discourse by alerting our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. My name is Ian Patches Liburd, and I give Almighty God thanks for blessing me with yet another opportunity to join you in conversation, my Straight Talk family, on yet another occasion. And we'd like to tonight, rather, it's a very interesting night, I must tell you. I'm sure a lot of you are pondering and wondering what's going on. But what you're hearing, I can tell you it's true. But I'll tell you a little more about that. But we like to really provide our COVID-19 update, and just to inform you that things are still looking good in St. Kitts and Nevis, because in the last 24 hours there has been no confirmed cases of COVID-19. Our death toll still remains the same, and yes, we are really winning that fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. But let's not keep our guards down. Yes, the mass mandates are being dropped all over the world, but still be careful, still be cautious, my Straight Talk family. Our vaccination rate is looking well as well. We are doing pretty all right in respect of our vaccination rates. They are going up and up, not as fast as we would have liked, but the first doses are over 83%, and our second doses are heading hard for 80%, and that's very good. Tonight as well, I want to I have labeled our conversation tonight, "The People Must Decide." But I first would want to continue our observations with our observations in review, as usual, which is that time of the program when we do some reflection. We do some reflection on the ongoing issues as well as the past ones, and try to establish what was accomplished, how it has helped us, or how has it helped others, and what has changed since. What can be expected next, and what new have we learned as a people? But I want to first of all, in my first observation in review, it brings into focus the two rebellious leaders of the Team Unity coalition, if there is still a coalition. We'll talk about that in a few moments. But one of them in an insidious attempt at my personal destruction, I believe, went overboard and told a bold-faced lie, on me, which to me borders on defamation. Because last Friday, the 22nd day of April, this leader said this on WinFM radio.
Radio program, and on that bi-weekly radio program, he is heard making disparaging remarks about ministers of government. One would think that he would use the radio program to educate the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis as to the work that he is doing to ensure that benefits come to them. Instead of that, what do you hear? Accusations of this minister being a thief, essential. What about that can engender trust? You go to the Prime Minister, you speak to him in all honesty about it. Why is it an ambassador is doing this? As a government, you would ask for that person to be recalled.
And yes, you can ask for anyone, any ambassador, to be recalled. But I wish to state for the record that I, Ian Patches Liburd, never did and never will call any member of parliament or cabinet a thief. However, since the Deputy Prime Minister raised the matter of stealing, I must, for that reason, ask Sean Richards, which minister are you referring to, sir? I asked the question because in the University of West Indies Cave Hill Faculty of Law Distinguished Series, the Honorable Dr. Kenny Davis Anthony, former Prime Minister of St. Lucia, had this to say, and he cited this particular case.
I take you now to a Grant, and Jonel F.H. Powell, and Tanzania Tobin Tanzel. That case is an eloquent example of the efforts of the court to rein in misbehavior or bad behavior, I would describe it, of politicians. In that case, the two attorneys, one of whom, Lindsey Grant, is currently a cabinet member of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, were accused by the claimant of misappropriating some US $460,000 transferred to them initially on trust and thereafter in escrow to purchase a condominium unit and to secure title to the property in question. The funds were made available as an investment under the Citizenship by Investment Program. Astonishingly, the appellants told the court, quote, that they are facing the greater prejudice having regard to the nature of the judgment against them and their standing as politicians, unquote. To this, the Court of Appeal admonished the appellants in unusually caustic terms. Quote, this is an irrelevant consideration in assessing prejudice in the context of this case. Before the court, all parties are equal and entitled to equal protection of the law. One class of persons is not afforded some greater privilege and merits more consideration than another by virtue of political or ministerial portfolio. For the court to take such an approach would be an affront to the constitutional principles and the rule of law by which the Federation of St. Christopher and Nevis is governed, unquote.
And my Straight Talk family, I also asked a question because at the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court, the learned judge found that in the case Tanzania Tobin Tanzil versus Lindsey F.P. Grant and Jonel F.H. Powell, these two members of the party you lead, Mr. Richards, in the Team Unity Coalition, misappropriated over $1 million of their client's money. The learned judge wrote, and I quote, although receiving the sum of US $460,000 from the claimant, their former client, in May 2013, the defendant, without lawful excuse, despite repeated requests from the vendor and the claimant, failed to pay the balance of the purchase price to the vendor of a condominium unit that the claimant was purchasing on the closing date of 28 September 2015. The defendants finally made the payment, beg your pardon, of the balance of the purchase price of the condominium unit, that should be, to the vendor in July 2018, approximately 3 years later. And that's coming from the court, my Straight Talk family. So, I wish to state further, when I read the decision of the High Court, it prompted me to do my own research on the legislation in St. Kitts and Nevis. Lo and behold, I came across the Larceny Act Cap 4.16, which stipulates or states in Clause 3 of the Act that amongst other things, that a person steals who, without the consent of the owner, fraudulently and without a claim of right made in good faith, takes and carries away anything capable of being stolen with intent at the time of such taking, reads that particular act. I also found Clause 19 that speaks to conversion quite interesting, as Section 1 subsection D reads, and I quote, having either solely or jointly with any other person received any property for or on account of any other person, fraudulently converts to his or her own use or benefit, or the use or benefit of any other person, the property or any part of the property or any proceeds of the property commits, hear this, commits a misdemeanor and on conviction is liable to imprisonment with or without hard labor for a term not exceeding 7 years. Let me therefore say one more time, my Straight Talk family, there is no evidence that can be provided by Mark Brantley or Sean Richards and or anyone for that matter that would show, that would substantiate beyond doubt that I, Ian Patches Liburd, call any member of government or the cabinet a thief. Having read the act, though, I asked the question, can it be reasonably concluded that lawyers in St. Kitts Nevis could have gone to jail for fiddling, for dipping, and or for stealing the funds of a client? And why not? Because in Barbados, Attorney at Law Paris was sentenced to 4 years in prison for theft of a client's money in a similar amount of $462,000 and for the purchase of a condominium as well. Another lawyer in September 2019, Lawyer Pyle, was sentenced to 3 years in prison in Barbados for stealing $191,416.39 from a former client. Where is the St. Kitts Nevis Bar Association is a pertinent question we all need to ask. My second observation in review is in the form of a question to the elected member from St. Kitts 5. Honorable member, are all persons in St. Kitts Nevis equal and entitled to equal protection of the law, irrespective of their color, class, or creed? Are some classes of persons in St. Kitts Nevis afforded some greater privilege and merits more consideration than another by virtue of political or ministerial portfolio? I raise these questions because many persons have contacted me to inquire whether the aspiring leader of this country and the current leader of the People's Action Movement violated the Constitution or the constitutional principle that you read and the rule of law by which St. Kitts Nevis is governed. Recall that he refused to attend the people's business for over 2 months, my Straight Talk family. How many of us recall this? We must recall this.
The last thing I was told is that the report has been altered and my name has been removed from the report. Again, I left it like that. About a week later, I was at a certain establishment, and while sitting down there, someone came to me and said to me, well, how you ain't tell me you were at last lap when this thing happened? I said I didn't consider it important because I ain't know what happened at last lap. All I know something happened at last lap. I don't know what happened there. I said, but wait. But you got to be my name in this report still. So the next day, I went to cabinet and I complained about it again because I said I was told that my name has been removed from the report. But based on reliable information, my name still included in the police report. And I took a decision there and then that until this matter is cleared up, I am not coming back to any cabinet meeting. Because if nobody gonna stand up for my name, I gonna stand up for my name myself.
And for 2 months and weeks, the member has to date not returned to cabinet. A few days ago, on public radio, Richards informed the nation that he received a letter from the Commissioner of Police confirming that he was not implicated in the alleged beating of a police officer by his cabinet colleague, Lindsey Grant. This is what Richards told the nation.
I took exception to my report. What I can say to you is I think it was sometime during the course of last week, I received correspondence from the Commissioner of Police in which he has stated that in terms of that particular matter, and I read for you.
Oh, you have those. You have it
further.
with you. Okay.
It says, further, you are in no way implicated in any report sent or given to me with respect to the incident which allegedly occurred on the morning of 8 January 2022. So that I think in terms of that, I am now able to put that particular matter behind us. These were reports written by the police officers themselves.
Could you imagine that, my Straight Talk family? But Straight Talk received a copy of that letter to Deputy Prime Minister Sean Richards, dated the 12th of April 2022, and which reads as follows. Honorable Sean Richards, Deputy Prime Minister, re-incident at last lap. Honorable Deputy Prime Minister, many thanks for your letter of 12th April 2022, which I received today. This is the first written correspondence I received from you on the above subject matter. Please be advised, it continues, that it is not in my authority to alter any statement given to me by any of the officers under my command. Sir, this will be unethical of me to alter any officer's statement. Further, you are in no way implicated in any report sent or given to me with respect to the incident which allegedly occurred at Last Lap Bar on the morning of 8th January 2022. I have not been able to source a copy of the letter written by the Deputy Prime Minister. But my Straight Talk family, the question still looms large, and the PAM leader must tell the Federation whether his actions violated the constitutional principles and the rule of law which governs the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Simply put, did the actions of Sean Richards undermine the rule of law in St. Kitts and Nevis? And my Straight Talk family, there's another observation I want to also bring to the fore, is that the case of battery or beating of a police officer that involves the Member of Parliament from constituency number 4 was called today, we are advised, and has been postponed until September the 12th. Although the charged individual wanted to expedite the case, I understand they asked for a postponement. And interesting enough, we wonder why. And even his family had this to say.
I move on to a man they call Lindsey Grant. You know Lindsey Grant is my family, you know. My uncle child. Lindsey Grant is my family. But I find he's a lucky fellow too. I find he's a lucky fellow. The incident at the bar, last lap. But I hear from all sides. I hear from all sides. I hear from people locally. I hear from people internationally. I hear from all sides. But I must say, the police erred. The police made a mistake. And remember, you know, I used to be a police. And this is my personal view. The police erred. Because if what they claim is correct, if what they claim that Lindsey Grant did, the police should have locked him up right away. The police don't have to go up on the walkie-talkie and call nobody, say, come help me. Once you beat or obstruct a police officer in the execution of his duties, he or she should be arrested. Lindsey Grant should have gone to jail tonight.
very interesting commentary by my friend. I wonder if he's still my friend. Yes, he's my friend, Big Lice. Very interesting commentary. I will ask the question as well. How many times do you believe that that individual should have gone to jail, Big Lice? I want you to answer that question on your next Facebook Live. How many times do you believe your family should have gone to jail? My Straight Talk family, before I get to my main issue tonight, I also want to commend Edward Giff and his staff at the Inland Revenue Department, because I recognize or realize that my driver's license was expired. And I didn't know, I didn't have a clue. I could have just gone online and tip, start clipping the mouse, and in minutes I can pay for my renewal of my licenses. And I realized there's so many other payments you can make online. And I will confess, I have no excuse now whatsoever to be late on my house tax payments or be outstanding. But I must commend Edward Giff and a young lady, Miss Prentice, who was so professional and so efficient and effective. But I give kudos to the Inland Revenue Department for their services, the quick payment access or quick payment system. My Straight Talk family, the question still looms large. But the people must decide. The question on everyone's mind right now, or the question on everyone's mind so the last weeks, 4 or 6 weeks, is whether the Team Unity government will survive the next 36 or 37 months remaining of its second term. To many, this seemed impossible, my Straight Talk family, given the reckless behavior of the two coalition leaders who continue to crave for political power, my Straight Talk family, and money. Well, tonight, my Straight Talk family, we can confirm that a motion of no confidence was filed, I believe, with the clerk of the National Assembly sometime earlier today. I'm advised that the Deputy Prime Minister filed a motion of no confidence in the very government in which he is the deputy. My Straight Talk family, these power-hungry politicians have taken the country down a reckless path without thinking or caring, it seems, about the consequences of their actions, my Straight Talk family. They care less about many persons. They care less about persons, my Straight Talk family, who are still unemployed. They care less about persons who are living on the edge, some sadly without water and electricity.
Doing disconnections too, yes, and some because disconnections have been made. When they go to floor and they go to the cable, etc., and they don't pay, they lose their service. And they find the money, Mr. Speaker, to go and reconnect the cable, and they find the money to top up their phones, Mr. Speaker. Likewise, pay the water bill. Electricity is a similar story. And if the electricity goes off tonight, they want to know what will happen to the electricity. And if it stays off for too long, they say the government incompetent. The government cannot keep on the electricity. But it comes at a cost, and so I'm appealing to persons to pay. People ought to pay. And so if it is that persons want to be upset, then so be it. People need to pay.
My Straight Talk family, imagine, during the Christmas season, and still faced with COVID-19. Many families till today have no water to ensure their proper sanitation. They have no electricity as well. Could you imagine the conditions under which many families were forced to live here in St. Kitts, especially without clean drinking water and adequate sewage disposal? What is life? How can we live without water to drink, to cook our food, to bathe, and to wash our body and things with it, my Stray Dog family? Now, after disconnecting the water and electricity of so many families, they are now creating further instability in the country by first declaring some nuclear option, my Stray Dog family.
The nuclear option, of course, would be to go back to the one to continue to serve them as a government.
Well, I don't know if you got that, my Stray Dog family, but the nuclear option is to go back to the polls for people to decide who they want to serve them as a government. And now, the filing of a motion of no confidence. But the people must now decide, because whenever any form of government finds itself incapable to govern, it becomes the right of the people to alter or to abolish that government and institute a new authority. The people must lay a foundation on clear constitutional principles and organize its power in such a manner which to them shall be seen as most likely to affect their own safety, their own security, their own happiness, my Stray Dog family. My people, in time to come, when we reflect on the current political stalemate in St. Kitts and Nevis, it will nevertheless be recorded that Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Sylvester Harris has successfully led for nigh 7 years the most politically diverse government ever in our history. Who could have imagined, given his performance as leader of the Team Unity government, that he would suddenly face an open rebellion against his leadership, especially by those who have publicly showered praises on him over the years. Even further afield in the region, the performance of Prime Minister Harris is being held up, I should say, as a model. His performance has been held up as a model by the Stray Dog family. And that's a very interesting turn of things. And it's a template for the sound fiscal management of every country.
I have my friends in the government, Mr. Dr. Timothy Harris, for his management of the St. Kitts Nevis economy. There are politicians here who suggest that we should model ourselves after St. Kitts because of how he's handled the situation. So this may redound to his political benefit.
Well, will it redound to his political benefit? Only time will tell. Who would believe that Harris would be given an ultimatum until midnight last Wednesday, the 20th of April, to cede, to give up his authority to two leaders who seem to be obsessed or only concerned with grabbing political power and controlling the resources of the Federation, my Stray Dog family? Who would believe this? Who would believe this is everybody's question. Everybody is asking that question, my Stray Dog family. Who would believe this?
And I just picked up my phone here Those who are watching will see me on my phone. And the reason I picked up my phone is because I'm trying to check to make sure that no message has come in from the Prime Minister. I don't see a message, and so I believe I can safely conclude that at 9:11 p.m. we have had no response to our letter as yet. I say as yet because Wednesday the 20th ends at midnight. And I will keep hope alive until midnight that it is not only Sean and Pam, it is not only Mark and CCM, it is also Timothy and PLP that wants to save Team Unity. I shall keep hope alive until midnight, because that is when the 20th of April ends.
My Straight Talk family, having received a response from the Prime Minister and not satisfied with his content, those two leaders of the coalition partners have now filed a motion of no confidence. Fortunately though, my Straight Talk family, and I say fortunately, the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis has a God-fearing leader who is no stranger to adversity. No stranger to adversity, my Straight Talk family. And one who would give his life fighting for the poor, fighting for everyone, in particular the poor people in this country, even, as he said before, if he had to perish. My Straight Talk family, that is the leader that we have.
Somebody must be brave enough to speak that basic truth and say, as one brave person said, if I perish in speaking truth to power, I perish! I perish, man. But truth must be spoken. Truth must be spoken. And that is what we are attempting to do, Mr. Speaker. That is what it is, Mr. Speaker.
My Straight Talk family, so as I said, Sean Richards, I'm advised, filed a motion of no confidence today. Let me get that right. The Honorable Deputy Prime Minister Sean Richards, and elected member from St. Christopher 5, I'm advised, filed a motion of no confidence today. So I say at this time of uncertainty, the people of our federation can therefore find hope in the book of Proverbs chapter 14 and verse 34, which reads, and I quote, "Righteousness exalted a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people." When we lose righteousness, then we lose liberty. People who cannot live responsibly from within must be governed from without. Just examine the words of our national anthem, my people, and remind ourselves that our federation had a godly founding. And though we are a young nation, we have thus far had a glorious past. We sing each time, with God in our struggles, St. Kitts and Nevis be, a nation bound together with a common destiny. We sing with that assurance, no sword nor spear can conquer, for God will sure defend. His blessings shall forever to posterity extend. And this begs the question, my people, therefore, if we continue on this current destructive path, then what kind of federation will we leave for our children to inherit? I believe we can find the answer in Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 3 that reads, and I quote, "For the revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it lingers, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay." Ironically, my people, it was an illustrious son of Nevis and founding father of the United States, Alexander Hamilton, who penned these words, and I quote, "People get the government they deserve." My people, there's a lot of uncertainty in our federation. But if we really want to know what is wrong, then we just need to take a good look in the mirror. And if you see an individual in the mirror who has attained the age of maturity, 18 years and over, then your moment has come to assume responsibility, as legally you are now entitled to more liberty. It is said that responsibility and liberty cannot be separated. And if this is true for individuals, it must be true for our federation, because every country is comprised of individuals. The question, therefore, to be asked is not whether the Prime Minister must resign. The question is, who decides in St. Kitts and Nevis who the next Prime Minister and his Ministers of Cabinet should be? I respectfully submit, my Straight Dog family, that the people must now decide. That's my story for tonight, and I am not going to change it. I'm going to open the lines to hear from you, the people. The big question is, tonight, what will you decide? The numbers are 869-663-6672. That's the local line. 663-6672. And the overseas number is 646-829-6672. I always like to implore you before I open the lines, and I'm going to do so in a few seconds. Respect others. And of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair. Let us try to be fair to all. Let us just hold on, please. Just hold the line, please. Just hold the line. Take your time, please. Let us try to be fair to all concerned. Let us try to build goodwill and better friendships. And in so doing, let us strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. With that said, I want to thank this caller for holding. Caller, you are live. Go right ahead, caller. Are you there, caller? Yes, caller, you're live.
Yeah, Patrick. Good night.
Good night, my brother.
Yeah, Patrick, yes. I am here listening to you clearly. And my question is this now. If the Prime Minister cannot get Sims members refuse to carry out the work and serve the people, if the Prime Minister can't get in with his members then and continue the government for the 3 years, continue the government for the full term. Because if you love your country and you want to see your country move forward, I believe that's the best thing to do. According to the rest members then, you got 2 in Nevis, you got 4 down here, you got Eugene Hamilton, I do not think Eugene Hamilton with them, you got Jeffrey Henley, you got Akira Byron, and you got, I don't know Daniel Powell with them. But I believe that the Prime Minister can reach out to the rest members of the cabinet and continue the government. Because if they really love the country and they want the country to follow, I believe that's the best thing to do. That is a wonderful night. May God bless the Federation of St. Nevis, and God bless you. Good night.
Good night, my brother. Let's go back to let's go back to line. Let's call you live. El caller.
Good evening.
Yes, just
good evening, Patrick. Good evening.
Just turn the radio.
Yeah,
down. Turn the radio down, my brother.
Yeah, I'm moving. Remember, I'm not as young as I used to be.
Yes, just before you advance your statement with your statement, all right? I understand that there's a motion of no confidence that was filed today. So I don't know whether there's a question or whether he can find other members. Once the motion is filed, it has to be debated in the Parliament. I think that is the law. But let's go back to the king of the people. Caller, you're live.
Patrick, well, thank God they filed a motion of no confidence, because the behavior of those two guys, they look like there was a coup to overthrow the Prime Minister. That's how it looked to me. Because if you're in there going for 7 years, and all the time you give him all the candies and lollipops and all kind of thing, and he's the best man God ever put there. And all in a sudden, you could get up and stab him in the back. That's all I could say. You understand me? Just stab him in the back like that. Don't think about the poor people that he helping every day. They're not thinking about the young children, them what he helping. They're not thinking about what he doing to make sure everybody in St. Kitts have a decent way to go and to be strong. You understand me? So I'm glad the file motion and no confidence. I said I losing my Prime Minister who we work hard to put there when everybody said it's the best thing ever happened to St. Kitts. So Patrick, don't be rushing over the emotion and the confidence, because that to me was a coup they had set up. And every go that they're going to get it work is not getting work. The Prime Minister needs to fire all of them, and work with what you got until better could be done. Nobody can do none. He didn't the job. Fire them, all of them. Stop them from coming in government headquarters. Stop them going any department, the control. Stop them from going there. As the morning over, I can do what you have to do. Patrick, I'll be back later. I will be glad if you could give me some response from me.
Thank you.
What I just said.
Yes, caller, you're live. Thank you for calling. Yes,
hello.
Yes, you're live.
Good evening, Patrick Liburd.
Good evening, my brother.
Okay, how are you doing, brother? I could hear it in your voice. I know how you're doing, but you are doing great.
I'm peaceful. I'm peaceful. Yourself?
Okay, I'm peaceful. Let me tell you something, Patrick. This motion of confidence, it is their right for confidence, and also it is the right of Sean Richards to go and do the work that people vote for him to do, and not shock his responsibility by not attending Parliament for 2 months and days going on.
Cabinet.
Because when he went to the people and asked them to vote for him, the people have confidence and put him in there. For he know to come and say he gonna abstain from cabinet because his name was involved in something. That is nonsense to the nation, foolishness. But anyway, we welcome the motion of no confidence. We welcome it because what we the populace want, that is what they're running from. Let us go back in the poll, go mark the paper them. And we're not going to mark the papers them not correct. We're marking the papers with X. Let me go there, man. We're ready for you. The Prime Minister is being recognized worldwide for the good leadership he's been exhibiting to this nation. So, you can't see that? Are you wild for money and wild for power? EK Flanders, I got to give him his commendation because he see it and he said, look how it is. But I go in patches here this now. You know what happened to them? I think the head them need changing around. They have the head that's not supposed to be there and the neck. And the one on the neck ain't supposed to be there. Patches, I'll be back. Good night. So long.
Yes, my brother. Good night as well. Let's go back to the lines. I want to thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live. Thank you for holding. Hello, caller. Caller. Good evening, my dear. You're live. I am peaceful. Yourself? Have a good night as well, my dear. Give my water and mind your business. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller. See if we missed this caller. Yes, I'll put you on hold. Just hold for a moment. But again, the numbers are 663 6672. 663 6672. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you are live. Yes, caller.
Good night, Mr. Liburd.
Yes, just get away from your radio, please. Turn your equipment down.
No, I don't have any yet. I don't have any.
I'm getting the feedback from you, but...
Mr. Liburd?
Yes, sir.
A shop in front of me. About music.
Beg pardon?
Anyhow, I'm glad for what you have done tonight. Read out everything and let everybody know about those two vagabonds. And I know if Mr. Bratter was alive, those two gentlemen will be out of his cabinet. They don't have no respect for the people who put them in there to do the people's business. They will just to get money. And do not let nobody stop you from part of the station. Everybody say, oh, they are the radio station costing the people in cabinet. They should be ashamed of themselves that the Honorable Sam Condon and the same Honorable Timothy Harris former government authority and join and use it and can ticket to strengthen them to put their ticket in office. And that is the behavior that are going on with to the people. And they should be ashamed of themselves because they are going back into the wilderness. They will never see Parliament again. They are ashamed of themselves. So like that. Do what you have to do, speak what you have to speak, and let everybody know their behavior. They are dirty-minded people. And whenever they get the chance, I want them to clean up the Port Lantern. Because Port Lantern will need cleaning up. You have a good night.
Good night as well, my dear brother. I want to thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller. Are you there, caller?
Greetings in the name of our great African ancestors, especially the most honorable Marcus Messiah Garbian Queen and Zinga. Blessed evening, my beloved African brother. How are you? How the family?
Peaceful, my brother. You and your family?
Good, beloved. But again, beloved, I call tonight again with a heavy heart. Brother, why? It's just like this thing is just getting worse. This power struggle. And you get an old African proverb, and it goes like this. When the elephants fight, the grass gets trampled. That's an African proverb, my beloved brother. And in the grass, in this instant, I'm not saying that all people are grass, just a metaphor, beloved. speaking figuratively. And, but in all of this back and forth confusion and this and that, and, everybody just saying everything going one side or the other. People think it's the one who suffer, but the majority, the vast majority of people think it's 90-something% about 92-95% of the people in St. Kitts are African people. And it's African people, most part, going to suffer and suffering in all of this back and forth. And, but there's still time. There's still time, like I tell Brother Mark on Wednesday. Still time that, hey, Brother Mark, Sean, Brother Richard, and Brother Harris, the Prime Minister, and anybody else they want to bring along, I prefer to them just in a room again and just sift out things, settle things, beloved. Because that will be in our best interest, the African peoples in St. Kitts and Nevis. Look how things were just going good. First 4 or 5 years, everybody talking about, oh man, St. Kitts and Nevis, great example. Genius fiscal management coming from the Prime Minister. Mother Brantley, the best foreign minister so far we had. In the history of St. Kitts and Nevis, you, Brother Patches, the best infrastructure minister. And the guy Lindsay, he got a great team too around him. When it comes to tourism and everything, what the sister name, the former principal of Bastia High School, everything was going good. Even in education, a lot need to be done. But the Brother Hodge there was steering it, Yeah, we had to just done it the Eurocentric crap that we have been just, putting up African-centered education, and that was coming. All of a sudden now, bam, everything just seems to fall apart. Brother, come on, man. Got to be better than this, beloved. I didn't support, take all kind of thing and others. It's not about Brother Nabu. I was part of that too, beloved. Starting with you, Brother Patches. I was one of the first one who asked you when you was on the radio station. I said, brother, consider you hook up with Brother Richard. You consider being the candidate for the People's Action Movement in #1, Brother Patches. And I support you and still support you up to this day, beloved. Brother, can't let this thing fall apart. And no words will be said from all directions. That is okay.
We passed the stage now.
Yes.
So the fact is that the resolution, which is the motion of confidence, has to be tabled. And if it is successful, if it's passed by the National Assembly, the Prime Minister has 3 days in which to resign or dissolve the Parliament. So we have to look forward now to the 21 days within which the motion must be tabled. We made that law. And after that, we decide which government we want. Do we want to put back these guys to do the... that's a question we have to ask ourselves. The public must now decide. So,
in that makes Brother Patches,
yes,
they could retract. They could just say, okay.
Well,
they could vote against the motion and no confidence that they put up too.
Well, let's see what happens. I think we'll see what happens. That would be foolhardy nonetheless, right? The people are not fools. But caller, thank you, Nabu, for your input. I'm going to take some other calls here.
Okay, brother.
The horse is already bolted out the barn.
Well, things still could be worked out, Brother Patches.
Well, you're a real optimist. Real optimist. Thank you.
Okay, brother. Thanks again. Pan-Africanism our purse. One love, beloved.
One love, my brother. Can things be worked out? Caller, you live. Thank you for holding. Hello, caller.
Patches.
Sir.
Patches, good night.
Good night, sir.
This is Dr. Elvis
taxi service.
How are you, Dr. Elvis?
I am boy, I can't complain, even though I was in the hospital and thing. I am joyful.
You were in the hospital?
But I was hospitalized and different things. But however, patches, you know what really hurted me? I have to believe that these guys went to any school, like Sean Richard them, or they have any principle. I'll tell you why now, patches. Sean, I listened to him talk. Sean said he didn't went to cabinet for 2 months because his name was in a report from the police, not to Timothy. You got your taxpayers' money monthly. You say your hand tied with Timothy, but you take 6 acres of land that are unsustainable up at Buckley's, fencing it with arrangement. Got it fencing with black. The same people who speak about Douglas them selling out the land with National Bank, debt to let land to debt swap. No, privately, my National Bank, you know, because the government or National Bank since under Dr. Simmons and with the sugarcane land. But privately now, Sean, we got a big project with he good boyfriend up at the Buckley there before you catch Ashley Allen. And there's another minister who got 6 more acres there too. Now the question is, you're telling people in East Bass here, Central Bass here, no land there, go down to there, go down to St. Paul. But you got 6 acres. Right? And you tell me these are decent people. There shouldn't be a part of the government with this corrupt, nasty, selfish, grudging attitude. Mark Brown again said that the best thing happened to Nevis with the coalition, the unity government is the best thing. Listen, member Carey and Vance Amrias took premier before him. He said they never get no money, but Nevis now had the financial crisis like today, and he getting money. So he's telling you this man can't manage. The man got to be lack of management. Because you're getting more money. And you still can't Nevis look joy. The people crying out, and now you want Triton Timothy to turn the people against Timothy by saying, you know, give me enough money. He like a whorehouse. A whore will ask him as much as she could get. Because that's her motive. They operate like whores, Sean Richard them. No, maybe about it. They want this and that done in 1 term, they take up 6 acres of land. 1 term. But you're telling people in East Bass here, Central Bass here, no land there. But you got 6 acres up there by the runabout. By behind the movie going up there. Before you catch Ashley project them going up there. My point, you argue these things. How come you couldn't take a half acre where you build your house and live? But they think people foolish, and they think people don't continue with this thing about labor and PAM and unity. No, so he walk. He gonna walk by people common sense. I agree some people set out the money and they could take bribes like a whore. So they drop the...
Okay, I wanna...
when you look at the police, gonna speak to you as a minister, and you're gonna tell him I'm gonna rat you up. But what's gonna happen to the citizens and the ordinary people in this country? Sean Richard say backing him up. He went to the cabinet and taking taxpayers' money because he did in a report. But William Cougar in a report said that a jump over somebody's fence last night. Anybody go have that? Is you to prove, bring your evidence to prove that Elvis jump over the fence? Or that Elvis went through your window?
Okay.
How are you to exit Timothy or the Prime Minister or the Commissioner of Police? That's what you call investigation. They interrogate you and you know to prove if you choose to talk or when you reach to the courthouse. That's what interrogation is for.
Okay, good.
You're not obliged to send nothing unless you wish to do so.
Okay, Dr. Elvis, I think...
Yeah, have a nice night.
Have a nice night as well.
And trust me, if I die tonight, I am going to live to feel the dark spirit of these people. Have a nice night, Patrick.
Have a nice night as well, my dear brother. You know, as I listened to you speaking just now, Dr. Elvis. You know, the fourth president of the United States of America, James Madison, once said, and I quote, "We have staked the whole future of American civilization not upon the power of government." And I'm not plagiarizing for one moment, but I want to adopt those particular words. We have staked the whole future of the St. Kitts Nevis civilization not upon the power of government, far from it. We have staked the future upon the capacity of each and all of us to govern ourselves and to sustain ourselves according to the 10 commandments of God. Caller, you're live. Thank you for holding.
Mr. Ian Patches Liburd, greetings to you, my brother. How are you?
I am peaceful, my brother. Greetings as well.
A very, very lovely topic. Mr. Patches, why sometimes certain persons in this country try to put yourself and your program in a sloppy way? You don't put your program to malign no one. You put topics on the floor and you bring facts to support the topics. I think anyone who wants to educate the country would agree with any person who doing something like that. Mr. Patches, I listened to the Premier of Nevis last week on his program. And I also heard the Deputy Prime Minister in a video clip. And both ministers seem as though they have a little problem concerning agreement that they had, and they feel the agreement is not taken to. Here is it, Mr. Patches. 3 ministers had meetings. I mean, I don't have to be written to the Prime Minister, but all of them should be cabinet members, number one. And I asked myself from that meeting, why only the Prime Minister must have things to consider? The other 2 ministers. Because in that same meeting, the Prime Minister also laid issues on the table. And they seem as though they didn't take heed of none of the issues because they say they give the Prime Minister time, seeing that he's the Prime Minister, to consider this. I don't see what was the need for that. Because if the Prime Minister have to consider things, you also have to consider things. Mr. Brandy also talked about 70-30 ratio population. Here is it. These 2 ministers got highly ministerial portfolios in the cabinet or the administration. They can put issues to cabinet payments. So just like how you feel that you put an agreement, you could bring the Prime Minister brought the debate to the floor concerning a Prime Minister should govern for 2 terms. That was a part of the agreement. So we can't say the Prime Minister is not adhering to issues concerning the agreement. We see budgetary support to Nevis improve immensely amongst any other Prime Minister govern this country from independence. The support to Nevis has improved in all corners at the Federation. So we cannot say. So if you want to stipulate on a 70-30 ratio, what it would be, Nevis get a lump sum, this lump sum of this ratio, and what will happen? Would there be continued budgetary support going to Nevis, or would the federation continue? It wouldn't. In this instance, something like this ain't called for reform. That's why people put a unity administration bill, put things to the cabinet to reform issues concerning the country, making these kinds of moves. Going in, it shouldn't be a query if he going into two terms. The 2 terms ain't even over yet. You know, and the country is in a stable position. Why are you making confusion amongst yourselves? You want to tell me that you ain't have sufficient mature dialogue to deal with issues? The people continue to be the hope in the whole thing. Mr. Patches, you continue to be strong. The way forward, Mr. Patches, is unity. You got to change instead. But that's how God shows we have to live. We see in the past 7 years how blessed we were. What we're going to do from the blessing that is. Remember we said like 2015, the Lord, you know, it was divine intervention. But the Lord still in it. And the Lord is about unity. So is mankind have to develop that mature instant that renew the soul, feel yourself born again, throw the partisanship, politics, and do what the people put them there to do. Reform the process. That's all it takes. If you have to change heads, you change heads. But the way forward is unity. That's the template.
Thank you very much, my dear brother. Yes, the way forward is unity. And as you said, they claim, and this hullabaloo, or hullabaloo, however it's called, right? About national radio and ambassador. I have a right. And I bring topics to, as you said, topics and facts for the people to discuss. Have a national discourse, right? Let us talk about what's happening in our country. And let us go back to the lines. My Stray Dog family, you are live. Hello, caller.
My bunny lies over the ocean.
My bunny lies over the sea. What will you tell me?
My just give the people a Montserrat one little shout up there for me.
Yes, I'm hearing all the people in Montserrat. I had some wonderful times in Montserrat. How about my colleague minister? I haven't heard or seen him for a while.
It's good. Maybe we might with it on a radio program tomorrow night.
All right.
Okay. On their position. Yeah.
He has a program. Okay.
And yeah. But you tell me that you got some fans up here, right? One of them tonight. You got Lovey. That I want to get big partner. So just be Lovey and shout up there for me.
Lovey. I hope you're doing well. And you got over COVID. See you sometime in St. Kitts or in Montserrat, Lovey. Okay?
Yeah, listen here now. Yeah, listen here now, my bunny. My bunny, me no that me got father in St. Kitts.
Your father?
One father.
You have a father in St. Kitts?
Me never know. He got a guy in St. Kitts. I'm going to tell him what food food.
Ah, okay.
But listen here. Listen here, my buddy. Me never get no support on.
Maybe your mommy didn't know.
You get that?
Maybe your mother didn't know it was your father.
Listen here now. And let me not trouble you tonight. Watch me. You know anybody not saying it's that paint their house red?
Only one person could paint the house red. Don't call his name, please.
Okay, we not calling him. We not calling him. We not calling him. Who get blood pressure? Who get blood pressure? Get blood pressure, right? Listen here. From one radio station to the other radio station, bitterness. So, our negatives about it. So let me bring up positive tonight, no? That the people, the world will know that team unity is negative. Because today you can't fuck money spend. How money, and you don't know how money spend. Tell me something. The red roof. The roof never get damaged or anything like that?
It was repaired. It was repaired. Yes, it got hurricane damage. It was repaired by Team Unity, my brother. That's what unity is all about. You don't discriminate.
So how Team Unity do something good?
Team Unity do a lot of good things.
But then why did go them na song now? The people know that Team Unity do this and Unity even do something positive for you. Why are negative this, negative that, negative this, negative that? But you know something, never cool out.
Yes, my brother.
Because he know me influence. And he know me. So the truth about it, you see, when it calls on the radio station and you notice the whole of them, now try to correct, you know. So he talk. So you know something? One bad statement become good. Because you get a challenge. You get that? So since you challenge me, listen to me. The things that I say, I'm going to bring them back to the people and I'm going to analyze and show the people. Because he has, be truthful, like he's truthful. Like he's truthful. You get me? So from now on, when he brings something, I'm going to analyze what he said to the people and the twist and the foolishness that he does chat. Latest. Okay then, my buddy.
Yes, my buddy.
Leave video tonight.
All right. Thanks a lot for your input, your intervention.
Yes, and make sure the people know that leadership matters.
True.
And the Prime Minister, the people are there, and he'll be outside looking in. People don't know how this time around. Leadership matters.
Yes, my brother.
And the Prime Minister, I don't care what nobody say. Minister one genius.
Yes. You're not alone, my brother. You're not alone.
Okay then, my bunny.
My bunny.
Okay then.
Over to Montserrat. Hailing my fans in Montserrat. And throughout the Caribbean region. Thanks a lot for your input, my brother. I've heard from my fans down there in St. Vincent and the Grenadines for a long time. What's happening in St. Vincent and the Grenadines? Caller, you're live. Yeah, I'll give you 30 seconds.
As you say in the patches, you never see the wind blow. And we see it now. And the situation is something and some. All of the people the poor and the ordinary people. And he will come to power to true. Because if some had used for the ordinary people, the executive, you are great man. You can 22 more years ago. Because the election occurred maybe before. These men could not stand up and show for the balance of the balance of the curriculum, the tragedy, greediness, corrupts, and greediness can fight down and all kind of things. But then, I don't care what people got to say. I am going to criticize a lot of board or two last week Tuesday I went to a funeral, and in the funeral I had to come up in the space, and he come up to me here, I think she gonna tell me something good. So check that. Where do you need to be now? Where do you need to be now? You understand? But it's all jumping up and rejoicing and going on like they win something or they win the lotto. Let it go ahead. Because I know what the mother says and what I know, show us something else. We know that where this unity come from. And everybody know the struggle. Me, Jam Down Culture, Mr. Richard Kane, and other people was in this battle to get this thing together. And it's a slap in our face, it's a disgrace for us. And as Mr. Richard Kane well alive, I do not think that Mr. Richard Kane will have good with all of my hand.
Okay.
But Patrick, let us go and do what they got to do, because I opinion that's how it will stand firm with the government in this country as the Prime Minister.
Thank you.
That is a wonderful day.
It's a wonderful night as well, and the people will decide. What will the people decide, my Straight Talk family? Tell me. I'm going back to the lines. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Good night. How are you? You could hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you loud and clear. Sounds like Alice in Wonderland.
Yes. How are you?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
Yes, I'm thanking God for my stay alive so far. I am calling on hungry power men. Only God has power. What they are saying, only 2.5 years. And if they know it's 2 terms, what went wrong? Why can't wait? If it is the opposition they're taking advice from, it's only that they know they don't want them and have no use for them. They know they're waiting. Pull together. No. Don't sorry later. It's you and you to blame. Everybody have fault. Sift out your own fault. Don't be hot-headed and come hang out nothing on the radio. Mr. Nash, people say I'm grateful, but it's who else I am looking out from? Who can't wait? It's not sounding good. Oh, it's sounding good. Your enemy and give them a chance. I don't think the Prime Minister is their enemy. So why take him? Don't let money and Prime Minister get to their head. No. Look all the good he has done. He did not put no money in 3 banks away. They don't hear and see what's going on in the outer world. God in control, not man. Shame on them. Congratulations, Prime Minister. None like you. Thank you. If I get back in, because I have to get in. See you.
Thank you very much. It's all about power and CBI money. Caller, you are live. Hello, caller. Yes, caller. Caller, you're live. Caller, just turn your radio down and talk. Yes, talk to your telephone. Turn your equipment or your radio down, could you?
Good night.
Good night, my dear. Sounds like my sister.
Yes, sister, yeah.
How art thou?
I called to talk about my Prime Minister. 2020. I finished working at 4. I joined the Prime Minister and we went campaigning around the entire island just to make Pam secure the seat. This time around, my Prime Minister would do it for himself. Now, when the Deputy Prime Minister wanted to be leader of PAM, this is exactly how he behaved. He went to invite 4 people from number 4, and the 15 people was from Sandy Point. I was the only person there for PAM because of us. I hear they had the election, and that's what I want to hear. I went to the meeting. They had the meeting of project. And as leader, he walk up and down and he campaign, and he leave out KM people. I was the only person from KM there because of that. He didn't invite nobody. So that's how he behave. Want to be prime minister? I just how he behave when he wanted to be leader. He's a humble power man. And listen, I want the world to listen. The whole country to listen. Especially non-established workers. The auxiliary workers. The Prime Minister said he's working on our money. Sean said that we ain't supposed to get no pension. It never happened. It can happen. But at the same time, he's looking to be the Prime Minister with a bigger salary. And when he retire, he would get a big fat pension. But the poor people mustn't get nothing. Nothing for them. Only he one. And the speed he got up, man. The very full speed, the can't wait. The 5th of June, the 5th of June, 2022, would make 2 years since we had election. Election is June 2025. But he wants it now. He even wants to do the governor job. He went and take the governor, make him prime minister. Tell him he wants to be prime minister. And take out what he has out of his seat and sit down in a cemetery chair. Nothing will happen. You get that from? Never happen. You find a motion and a candidate. That's up to you. And brother, I want to look for favor song for me. You know this thing I can't song. Say, an election day, they will know for sure who is fooling who.
Okay.
I don't know. I hope you remember it.
Yeah,
an election day, we will know for sure who is fooling who. You got to think everything it. So he believes that he and his people from Sandy Point could make him come prime minister. They're not fooling. They're fooling him. They go, I said, I'm ready. I always what I'm ready. I'm ready to make me prime minister. Keep him. And people are pleased. No, I'm not going to get $500 more. The people from the hotel who get the $1,000 that me can't happen because he not like it. He do not like it. Boy, you fool that 12 minutes. You know what I mean? Honorable Timothy House. Hold on him. Don't let him go. When you got good, you can't let him go. When you have business mouth and you have bad man to divorce him. All the stupid man hold on to man who get lost and tap their neck. Okay. You can't hold on to something that is not good. This is a good government. National debt, he enter as soon as the footing government, he clears it. He enters, pay public debt.
Okay.
$200 million on the COVID.
Okay,
to make sure we secure, make sure that we good, make sure that we healthy.
Okay, got you, my sister.
My dear, whatever you decide, I'm behind you 100%. We're going again. We went to the island. You make sure that Pam win the seat. You went to the island. When you don't work, you could have gone. Go relax yourself, for you don't work all day. People disturb you all day. You went on and on.
Okay.
Round the island. I was there.
Okay.
I was there. Sometimes when the car is like, but then you can I start coming, I come from a pack of a chair and I go with them. Roll the island, making sure that Pam in power.
Okay, got you.
When he doesn't walk on them, the understand why to be prime minister, can you walk with him what you don't do?
Okay, got you, my sister. I've got you. Yes, I got you.
He want to be prime minister.
Okay.
And the same work what you do. Say him go and I want to keep prime minister.
Okay.
Where you get that? Anyway, I feel like that to that. The brother,
thanks a lot.
you have a good night.
Thanks a lot. Have yourself.
And the Lord will bless the prime minister. He will carry him through. And when you have something good, you can get with it. You can't keep a man good, a good man down. No matter with them, you're going to be stronger than ever. But they're ready, we're ready for them too.
Thank you.
Good night. Have a good night. And all the best for you.
Good night as well, my dear sister. They said a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. Yes, my straight dog family. I want to guide you by the rules of brevity. There are lots of calls I'm getting, so please, I understand how we feel, but let's try to keep our calls to 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. I think you can say quite a lot in that time. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller. Okay, I seem to have missed that caller. But the Straight Talk family, in the event you have just joined us, we've learned of the new developments here in St. Kitts and Nevis. There are some people who, as we say in colloquial parlance, they are hungry for power. And some are hungry or anxious to get their hands on the CBI revenue. But the question is, who decides who will be the next prime minister? And I put it to you. You are the ones who have. Are you live? Hello, caller? Are you there, caller? Yes, caller, you're live.
Mr. Patel?
Yes, my dear brother.
And I ask you a question. You remember the dog and the bone?
Uh-huh.
When the dog had the bone in his mouth and he was going the journey, when he reached out the you see a dog down there in the water with a bone. When he opened his mouth, Mr. Patrick, and jump out his mouth. And that thing will be. Now, you got it in your hand, but you let people, you're so sensible. You let people make the trauma out of your hand, and where you by now. The Bible says in the last days, perilous times shall come. Man shall be lower than all them. Boastful, high-minded, traitor, and the list goes on. Teddy, you see when you have a love for yourself, can't have love for people, real love. So, all what this thing happen here, the man not gonna love for your fellow men. And I'm telling you, nobody tell me so, no. Me used to work at Happy Plantation, and me used to see the situation. And the way he come back and do this thing, the man is a traitor. And so now, the man has got a God in him. So, as I always tell him, I like to my country, Mr. Patches. Promotion neither come from the east, nor the west, nor the south. Promotion come from God. God put up, and God pull down. So if they believe in themselves, and look at it, this how this say to know what. Sorry, but look at it now. He when he do his work, he want go the wrong way. He want to go now one, but the wrong way when he know he's supposed to go the right way. Because he power hungry and want money. Mr. Patrick, you take care of yourself, right? And God is good. I could tell you about me, you know. God looking after John James. God, me could say anything over the way there. I was young. Now I'm old. I neither see the righteous forsaken, nor see begging bread. God don't give me desire of my heart. I'm saying to you, Mr. Patrick, God will look after me. And when you put your confidence in God, God alone, God will look after you. Good night, Mr. Patrick. Good night.
Yes, my brother. Good night as well. Now, for those of you who have just joined me, a motion of no confidence was filed, I'm informed, by the leader of the People's Action Movement and elected member from St. Christopher 5. That motion must be tabled within 21 days. And if it is successful, the Prime Minister, if it passes, I should say, in the Parliament, the Prime Minister, by law, by the Constitution, has to resign in 3 days or dissolve a Parliament. And once the Parliament is dissolved, the people must decide. My people, we get the government we deserve. It's your turn. It's in your hands now. You decide what you want. Call you live.
Okay,
Yes, I've heard you. You're live. I'm going to give the second caller just 1.5 minutes.
I understand how we go, Patrick.
Yes.
I want to tell everybody good evening. I forget to single them out, but anyway, everybody listening. I want to say, Patrick, while the Deputy Prime Minister is ranting and raging for power, and the other one is ranting and raging over CBI money, Kean has been suffering for years with the water problem over there. And last year, I heard him said, Kean is going to get their water ASAP. Up to now, Kean still have problem with the water. And if you patches were still there working, Kean would not have no water problem till now. And while he there arguing over power, the high school still to be built. And I'm calling on Janelle Powell as Minister of Education. Tell the Deputy Prime Minister of Works that you need the school to put the children in. And it's a shame to see that they have to go back to those too long wooden buildings. I'm going to keep talking about it until they do something. It's 6 years gone now, 7 years, maybe, since those wooden buildings up there. And the children them need to go back in the school. And I'm calling on the Deputy Prime Minister. Why are you concentrating on leading, getting a lick of the lollipop, eternal lick and a lollipop? You wait until the time comes. If you have a ticket to a business place, you go to a business place and you have to pick a number to be served. Wait until the number is called. You can't leave from number 15 and go up in number 7's place and say, well, you're going in. No, wait your turn.
Okay.
Don't let anybody push you over the hill.
Okay, my brother.
But anyway, this unity didn't break up and it cannot come back. And the Prime Minister gonna do the best thing. Let us go back to the poll. Dr. Elvis, you leg us some good shot.
Okay.
Derek, everybody good night. That is, I'm taking it easy now because we're in till morning.
Yes, yes.
And I'm going to say this and I'm going. When Christina Sink, Mr. Roger had mourning for a whole week. The only person who was speaking on the radio was the manager for the radio station with an identification. All the music on that ZZ radio was instrumentally played. Hymns were played by instrument. Have a good night. Next week, when the morning is over, let's come fire upon all of them. The wicked, crooked, and grateful Satan Diego in this country. The Prime Minister is doing good. That is good night. Me 2 minutes cut short, but good night.
Good night, my dear brother.
Good night.
Yes, and for those who may have just joined me, a motion of no confidence, we are told, was filed today. And the Constitution, the laws which we amended, requires that motion or any motion of no confidence to be filed or to be debated in the Parliament within 21 days. If it is passed, then the Prime Minister he has the discretionary authority to resign within 3 days or dissolve the Parliament. The general consensus is the Prime Minister will dissolve the Parliament, and we, the people, must decide what government we need. Caller,
Hi, good evening, everybody out there in Radio Land, and good evening, Ambassador Ian Patrick Liburd. How are you tonight?
Your humble servant is peaceful, my brother. And how are you?
I am at this point excited.
I would imagine so.
Very, very excited.
And I can tell you why.
Because the motion of no confidence has been filed.
And?
Hello?
And?
I am preempting you. Say a friend loveth at all times and a brother. I feel like the luckiest man in the world. Thanks for being both a friend and brother to me. When in need, I hope that you are seeing my excitement.
Yes, I do.
The Chinese character. Hello.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I should allow you to go uninterrupted.
Time me, please. The Chinese character for danger is the same one used to represent opportunity. You've heard this often enough. And I think this especially apt since there can be no doubt that we are living in perilous times right now. It will be perilous for some, but a golden opportunity for others, chiefly labor. And I've looked almost with clinical detachment at the unraveling of what we struggled so by the fingers of greed, anxious to sink their talons into the nation's cup for their own personal gain. It's not going to happen. God still watches keenly over his own. But this to every one of us is quite obvious. Thankfully, our Constitution is sacrosanct, it's still vibrant, and democracy is alive and well. Thank God for that in our beloved Federation
to rectify the existing imbalance. Our most recent political experiment has confessedly failed, and its architects are engaged in a bitter, irreconcilable, bloodless war that, if not checked, will spell our national doom. And I know even you could agree with me to this. Thus, I'm challenging everybody to get ready to remedy this ill, this national problem that can only be done at the polls. As myself, I'm predisposed at this time, Dr. Drew and his roster innovative candidates a chance. What better option, really, do we have in this cacophony of confusion? The 90-year-old Labour Party, so recently reviled and scorned, is a stark reminder of that prophetic utterance, the stone that the builders refused has even now become the head cornerstone. It is the Lord's doing, and it's marvelous in our eyes. I'm happy to hear that the motion of no confidence has been filed in a timely manner so that a stubborn, recalcitrant Prime Minister can ring that bell to give this blessed federation of ours the chance it needs to resume some semblance of balance and move on. It's going to prove to be extraordinarily exciting, and I hope that you're feeling my excitement too, folks. And you too, Mr. Ambassador. Have a great evening, and may God richly bless you as you continue being the supreme facilitator, rather, that you have always been. Good night.
Good night, my dear brother. We go straight back to the lines. Caller, you are alive. Hello, caller.
Hello, Patrick. Good night.
My dear brother, John.
And for the old lady, so was trying to meet me at rock today. I'm still here, jamming on a life and kicking. Patrick, to man the power board. Swim! Come, swim! Shark, come, swim! Swim! Shark, come, Patrick.
My brother.
I know that the Prime Minister gave a lot of man the fee. And make a fool themselves, you know. Half of them come to the people. I can't do Rasta Nabo today. Nabo, in America, you're so right. You ain't got to come home. You're full of vibes. You understand what's going on? You're Nabo. But let me tell you something. I listen Frank and Candy today here, and the people ain't playing with it. Because man, as the old lady just tell you a while ago, man know that they're in the big tension, and they got house for me like the crazy. Well, a lot of people ain't getting on something similar, you know, and we're going to make sure we get. So let them come up. Timothy, you know, let them see it, and he won't show them he could do it for himself. Because they're nice, they're nice. But I want to touch one thing before I go. But you see them walk on, so my friend contender had down at the port deal, Port Zante, where you bring over to Scottsboro. You know how the Wagabon tourism minister though, along with Rockless Damian Oxley? He can't support Hashem, send them up the training school, and give them $2,600, and the West Ham down there to work McDonald's during the pandemic. doubling up getting $1,800. And that's some government, you know. But we don't chase out here. You know what I'm going to do? They're taking money that will build patterns in the name of poor people, vendors, paying taxes to live. We have to business me, MoneyGram, in the Salvation Place. Going up by idea. How can I feel? How can the women feel? Because I'm telling you, Kennedy, I feel better.
Okay. Okay, John.
No, Richie. What the vagabond convent school boys want? But the boys, we don't care out the yard. We don't care out the yard.
Okay, Jam though. Let's try keep it.
That is where I'm playing it. Play with it.
I agree with you, but let's try.
Have a good day.
Thank you. Let's not try to go low though, right? When they go low, let's go high. Okay? Let's go back to the lines. A caller, you're live. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Are you there, caller? Caller, you're live. Let's take this other caller. Caller, you are live. Hello, caller.
Yes, good evening, Patrick.
Yes,
again.
Mr. Rockstone.
My second two. What I said, Patrick, when I think about Grenada and Trinidad and all those places in the Caribbean where they had coup after coup, my mind run off on the Prime Minister. You understand me? So I'm glad they do the right thing by filing the motion of no confidence or what they want to call it. And let the Prime Minister go back to the poll with them. Because I don't care where they go, they're going to get licked again. And they will not get back in there. And Patrick is true, you know. Through you. You make me move me work from our tongue to your tongue to work for Pam. And I keep on telling you, Pam, you want to good all the time. But I still went and work for you, not for the Pam. I work for Patrick.
You did.
You understand me? Come here, you come a long way back.
You told me that, Pucho. That is true.
You understand?
I confess. You told me that. You admonished me.
You
Admonished me.
You understand me?
You did.
Yes, you see, so don't let that kick you off of running again. And nothing. Come with all your full sleep. Or you're going to have people out there behind you all like nothing. They're going to surprise to see what goes on in this country. They may get more than a mere the lady Bradley from Barbados I was in him. You know. Catches you, have a good night. Prime Minister, just say your prayers and hang your hat up high. You will be always there until the Lord ready to move you from the Prime Ministership. God bless you, sir. Okay, Patrick, good night.
Well, my straight talk family, righteousness exalted the nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Hello.
You're live.
Yeah. Mr. Liburd, Mr. Amory, Prime Minister, good friend, but going to funeral with them, don't have no use and no respect for him. They are set a wolf in sheep clothing. Give them their government that the parents leave for them. Get your people ready. Don't leave your constituency stranded. His constituency is who put him there. Why vex? Look, they're not looking out for theirs, but life is there. Don't let ignorance lead them down the wrong road, then sorry. Culture, get home safely, Mr. Liburd. I'm still waiting.
Okay. Sounds like Alice in Wonderland. My people, when we lose righteousness, we lose liberty. But let's go back to the lines. I'll tell you some more about that. Caller, you live.
Good night, Mr. Liburd. I'm second to that, right? Mr. Liburd,
yes,
I'm listening to everybody. I'm good night to your culture. I am shame and I'm born in shame because the Prime Minister Sylvester Harris came to McKnight and tore in McKnight asking people to vote for Janelle. And that's what he gets, a stab in the back. That's why I say if the Prime Minister have to come central, I'll vote for him. Let Janelle and the rest of the vagabonds go in the wilderness and stay there until whenever. And I want to know, the Deputy Prime Minister take up your portfolio down at Port Zante, and he would ask a question on freedom about a project. He said he do not know anything about a project, but I would like to know who is the one that draft the money to build the 4x4 down at Port Zante. But he could still go in his office and put his hand on a Bible to testify that he do not know anything about the project. What type of person he is to become a prime minister in this country? Cannot walk in Dr. Timothy Harris' shoes. All of them should be upgraded. And I made answer that the one in number 8, Mr. Hamilton, is pleased of the behavior, and also Mr. Jeffers over at Nevis is not pleased of the behavior. Because he said Mr. Emery was like a father to him. And he cannot believe of what these gentlemen do to talk about the word power. Only the people will let them know. We don't want you all no more. You all are vagabond. And get out of this place. Have a good night.
Have a good night, my dear brother. I'll take rather a few more calls for tonight. Those of you who may have joined me belatedly, I can say that, or can confirm, I should say, that the people of this country within the next 21 days must listen closely to the debate on the motion of no confidence that was filed in their own government. I haven't seen it, I haven't read it, so I can't say much more about it. But I can surely predict that the people of this country will decide. The people of this country will decide. Imagine some power-hungry politicians have taken the country down a reckless path. But I'll take 2 more calls before we wrap tonight. My Stray Dog family, this is one of them. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Yes, you're live.
Good evening.
Good evening, my dear.
Mr. Patches, growing up, you always say you never see fall bottom until wind blow. And that is exactly what's happening now to St. Kitts and the hungry politicians them. But let them go ahead. Be waiting for them because out they going. Out they going. Tim is the best man for the country. Have a good night. Bye.
Have a good night as well, my dear family. And these hungry politicians, hungry for power and hungry for money, want to put their hands on the CBI money when we've heard so much about the fiscal prudence of the Prime Minister. Without thinking or caring, it seems, about the consequences of their actions. They care less about the many persons who are still employed and are living on the edge, some sadly without water and electricity. I spoke to a lady, I won't call her name obviously, who told me that since Christmas she has no water and no electricity. We're not in Africa. We're in St. Kitts and Nevis, and you're telling me that people have no water to ensure their proper sanitation? Who is the minister with responsibility for water? Yes, ask yourselves that question whenever you get to the polls. Could you imagine the conditions under which many families were forced to live here in St. Kitts, especially without clean drinking water and adequate sewage disposal? What is life? How can we live without water? How can we have our people living without water, Mr. Minister? Water to drink, to cook our food, to bathe, and to wash our body and things with it. And after disconnecting the water of so many people, my Straight Talk family, after disconnecting the water and electricity for so many families, you have now come and creating further instability in the country. I'll take this and make this my final call for tonight. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Patches.
My dear.
Good night, Patches.
Good night, my dear. How are you?
I'm good. I just calling to say good night to Godfather Tim. From take us to Tim and Timothy Harris baptized Pam. And he's taking care of Pam. So Pam people has nothing to fear. Timothy always there. Remember when Pam was down, Timothy was there. Timothy took it on him and he went out. He campaigned. I was there. He campaigned to bring back Pam. So I please do not be ungrateful to Tim, okay? St. Kitts and Nevis will never be the same. Please don't do it. Has no fear. Timothy get thrown out of Parliament because Prime Minister does better Timothy Harris was a Pam because Pam people. So I don't be ungrateful to Timothy, okay? Has no fear. Timothy always there. Godfather Tim, good night. Thank you to help him out, Pam, after all them years they was down in the wilderness. Patches, if you're in a relationship for 7 years and the relationship ain't working out and you stay in it, if something in there sweet you while you suck up with it. If them were in Parliament with the Prime Minister, he was doing so bad after 7 years, while you staying there, this is not a relationship, this is people business. Bring it to people and let people know. And that is why people don't want to listen to them anymore. And some of them on the way to talking about PLP go now, them is the same set of people who are campaigning against the unity government 2020 and trying to get the Labour Party saying that kind of thing. Mark won't be the next Prime Minister. He look good, he could dress and he nice looking and that. So them is now from the biggest advisor now to PAM and CCM. People are wake up. These people making fun. They know what they're after. That's it. You have a safe night, okay? Godfather Tim, good night. And let me say this. Morning tomorrow, Concert Extension, she had given me a message to give to more. She said, I must tell you, she can sing, she's speaking with you because you're the Godfather for Pam. And good night, Patrice. You have a safe night. I'm Prime Minister too. Grandmaster sing a song, say, ready for them. That's it. Boy, I don't vex with me, I just talking the truth. Good night, Patrice.
Good night, my dear. And that's the way we're going to end it, my Straight Talk family. Now the motion has been filed. The people must now decide. Because whenever any form of government finds itself incapable to govern, it becomes the right of the people to institute new authority. The people must lay a foundation on clear constitutional principles and organize its power in such a manner which to them shall be seen as most likely to affect their own safety, security, and happiness. My people, in time to come, we will all reflect on the current political stalemate in St. Kitts Nevis. And it will be recorded that Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Sylvester Harris successfully led for 7 years the most politically diverse government in our history. Who could have imagined, given his performance as leader of the Team Unity government, that he would be, as some people said, stabbed in the back? My Straight Talk family, who would believe that someone would file a motion in his own government? Fortunately, the Federation has a God-fearing leader who is no stranger to adversity and one who would give his life fighting for everyone, especially for the poor people in this country. He is well known for standing up for his people, my Straight Talk family. Well known for standing up and putting his country above self, my Straight Talk family. So at this time of uncertainty, the people of our federation can find hope in the book of Proverbs, which reads, "Righteousness exalted a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people." When we lose righteousness, then we will lose our liberty. And people who cannot live responsibly from within must be governed from without. I spoke earlier of the words of our national anthem. And we must remind ourselves that our federation had a godly founding. And though we are a young nation, we have thus far had a glorious past. We sing each time, with God in our struggles, St. Kitts and Nevis be a nation bound together with a common destiny. We sing with that assurance, no sword nor spear can conquer, for God will sure defend. The blessings or his blessings shall forever to posterity extend. If we continue on this current destructive path, then what kind of federation will we leave for our children to inherit? We can find that answer in the good book, for the revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end I will not prove false. Though it lingers, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. My people, a son of Nevis and founding father of the United States, Alexander Hamilton, penned these words, and I quote, "People get the government they deserve." My people, there's a lot of uncertainty in our federation. But if we really want to know what is wrong, then we just need to take a good look in the mirror. And if you see an individual in the mirror who is over 18 years old, then I tell you, your moment has come to assume responsibility. I'm speaking to the young ones, as legally you are now entitled to more liberty, for the young ones in particular. Responsibility and liberty cannot be separated. And if this is true for individuals, it must be true for our federation, because in every country we find individuals. The question is not whether now the Prime Minister must resign. The question is who decides in St. Kitts Nevis who the next Prime Minister should be. And I respectfully submit, you the people must decide.
somebody must be brave enough to speak that basic truth and say, as one brave person said, if I perish in speaking truth to power, I perish. I perish, man. But truth must be spoken. Truth must be spoken. And that is what we are attempting to do, Mr. Speaker. That is what it is, Mr. Speaker.
And my straight talk of family, politics, remember, is not a sport nor a religion, or at least it should not be. It should be a rational discussion from here on policy based around a set of ideals. The people need unity. That's what they all say. And now, it's your turn to choose the kind of unity you need. Saying happy birthday to Jamila. Trust you had a wonderful day. My Straight Talk family, my time is done and I've got to run. But politics, unlike sport and religion, is important because it affects your life and everybody around you significantly. We cannot stand by and let your country go down or go back to that dark road. These people don't love our country, and we must teach them a lesson. You must decide. I want to thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight, and as always, I want to thank you, the many callers, the listeners, those on social media, those on ZIZ Radio. Without you, there's no Street Talk. And I say a big, big thank you. Until we connect on Thursday for another edition of Street Talk, be good to yourselves and to all whom you meet. And remember, whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, you must believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light. Thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Straight Talk family, keep moving on. Bye-bye. Until we connect on Thursday.
In the morning, I thank God for the morning light. Give Him thanks and praises for taking me safely through the night.